Hey guys, it's Brandon. I'm back with another mental health video. Today, we're going to be talking about mania and hypomania. So what is mania? Mania is a condition or state of being characterized by a period of abnormally elevated, extreme changes in one's mood or emotions, energy levels, or activity levels. This highly energized level of physical and mental activity and behavior must be a change from one's usual self and be noticed by others in order to be considered mania. So what are some signs and symptoms of mania? Manic episodes include the presence of 3 or more of the following symptoms for at least 1 week. So 3 or more of these together for at least 1 week, you got yourself a manic episode. An intense euphoric feeling or an extreme sense of irritability. High levels of creativity, energy, and activity. Feeling a distorted sense of well-being, euphoria, or extreme self-confidence. Needing much less sleep than usual. Racing thoughts, rapid speech, and talking over people. Inflated self-esteem or grandiosity. Poor appetite and weight loss. Reckless and impulsive behaviors. And it can involve psychosis, such as hallucinations or delusions, but it doesn't necessarily have to. So who can go manic? Who falls into these manic states? Well, manic episodes are primarily experienced by individuals with bipolar disorder. However, other conditions that may cause manic episodes include schizoaffective disorder, which we learned in one of my previous videos is a combination of a mood and thought disorder. Postpartum psychosis, a mental health condition that can develop after childbirth that can include mania for some women. Medications. Certain medications, such as stimulants and antidepressants, can trigger manic episodes in susceptible individuals. And brain tumors or injuries are also known. Physical damage to the brain can cause manic episodes in some individuals. Can anything be mistaken for mania? Yes, several conditions can be mistaken for mania, including substance intoxication, certain mental illnesses like schizophrenia or major depressive disorder with psychotic features, and medical conditions like epilepsy. Additionally, hyperactivity in children and anxiety disorders in adults can also mimic manic symptoms. So, just a little reminder, I have bipolar 1 with psychotic features. We found that out after I was in a manic phase for at least 6 months. Possibly 9. My wife started to notice some weirdness around March. My daughter said I started to freak her out in July. And I ended up in the hospital in December. So that's like 9 months straight of being in a manic episode that progressed to full-blown hallucinations and delusions, which I touched on in one of my previous videos. If you want to go back and watch hallucinations versus delusions, I talked about some of the specific ones that I experienced while manic. One of the ones I forgot about was that I had special DNA somehow, and the rest of the planet was now sterile, the rest of the males, and I was immaculately conceiving babies. Every woman I came across, I was impregnating with my being in my delusion. And I was to raise all of these children somehow. Just, there's so many of them. I thought I worked for the CIA. I thought I was a Secret Service driver. I thought I actually protected the president one night. I was driving. I swore I was right behind his car in a motorcade. And I'm flying down the road at like a $120. 6 inches away from the car in front of me, just heightened senses, reckless abandon for the safety of self and others. I'm so grateful to be balanced today. and to be out of that manic state. Ugh. All right, so now that we understand mania a little better, what's hypomania, right? Hypomania is basically just like a less severe form of mania. Like it's milder. You still might have an elevated mood, increased energy and activity, but without the significant impairment to like life and job and relationships that a manic episode would have. Hypomania typically has to last at least 4 days, while mania lasts at least 7 days. Aside from duration of episode, another key difference in mania versus hypomania would be the presence or absence of psychotic features. Mania, like I experienced for almost 9 months, can involve psychotic symptoms like hallucinations or delusions. You might see stuffed animals fighting one another. You might see inanimate objects move. You might see galaxies disappear and reappear in the night sky. You might see constellations move around with the blink of an eye. Your creativity and imagination is the limit. The hallucinations and delusions can be mind-blowing. Now, in hypomania, they're going to typically be absent. It's not going to be as much of a disruption to your life as mania would be. Our next key difference is the requirement of hospitalization. Mania may require hospitalization if the person becomes dangerous to themselves or others, or if they develop psychosis and they're hallucinating and having delusions and they're under false beliefs about who they are and who other people are. They're probably going to need to be hospitalized like I was. Involuntary hospitalization is coming up soon if you slip into mania and end up with delusions and hallucinations. If you're lucky, if you have a strong support group around you that hospitalizes you, because I was headed towards a very, very dark end if I kept going the way I was, lost in my delusions and hallucinations. The fun left at the end, I'll tell you that much. Risk-taking. Mania can involve risk-taking, extreme risk-taking behaviors that could cause harm to self or others, while hypomania typically only slightly might affect your judgment or your decision-making skills. So, like, you might fly down the road at 120 miles an hour, 6 inches from a car in front of you, thinking you're a Secret Service driver, weaving in and out of traffic like you have the right to, thinking that you are the shadow pope of the world and the shadow president, and that no law enforcement is going to do anything because they all know that you're the head of the FBI. Those are the type of delusions and hallucinations you might slip into if you're in mania. Hypomania, you're probably not going to have to deal with all that. So while both can involve periods of elevated mood, increased energy and activity, both of them can be associated with bipolar disorder, schizoaffective disorder, and schizophrenia. Both can involve feelings of euphoria, increased talkativeness, and reduced need for sleep. There are key differences, including one of them probably won't require hospitalization or disrupt your life nearly as much as the other. The treatment for both mania and hypomania are very similar. They include a combination of medication and psychotherapy. Medications, particularly mood stabilizers and some antipsychotics, are often prescribed to control the acute manic phase and prevent future manic episodes. I personally, as per my last video on medications, I'm on lithium, which is a mood stabilizer, and I'm also on Abilify, which is an antipsychotic. The mood stabilizer helps to keep the mood stable, while the antipsychotic helps to keep the hallucinations and delusions from returning. I'm also on an NDRI, which is a norepinephrine and dopamine reuptake inhibitor for my ADHD. And it also helped me stop smoking cigarettes. So I just got to say, shout out Wellbutrin, because I'm 16 days smoke-free today, and that's wild. And my executive functioning seems to be working a little bit better. So, hey. Anywho, here's some self-care tips. Recognize your personal warning signs. For me, I think I start to talk to myself. I start to talk really fast and over people and for an extended amount of time. I might not need that much sleep or food. Those are warning signs that I'm headed towards mania if I'm not careful. And what can we do if we feel like we're headed towards mania? Well, grounding techniques, right? We can take our shoes and socks off, put our feet on the earth, actually on the ground, and connect with the planet. You can practice deep breathing techniques or focus on sensory details like what you can see, hear, taste, touch, or feel. Or see. I know all the sights, guys, all the senses. I messed up in one of my previous videos. I know all 5 senses and the 6th one too. Because when I was hallucinating, I saw dead people. I really did. Prioritize sleep. Try to get at least 8 hours of sleep a night, or at least what's restful sleep for you. And make sure to eat a healthy diet and adequately hydrate the body and mind. Reduce your overall stimulation. We don't need to be on the phone all day, every day. We don't need to be on the social media constantly. Reduce stimulating environments as much as possible. Maybe listen to some soft, soothing music or rain sounds. Take a nice little nap. Regulate that emotional nervous system and just rest a little bit. Seek out support of friends and family or people in your care team. Go to a support group. Go to a 12-step meeting. Go to a mental health, meeting if they have them in your area. There's types of mental health associations and bipolar support groups and schizoaffective support groups. Find your tribe out there. Link up and support one another. Take your medication as prescribed. Attend your therapy sessions regularly. Meet with your psychiatrist. Drink your water. Go to sleep. Eat the food. Do it all, even if you don't want to. You don't ever have to go manic again. You can take care of yourself and stay in recovery just for today. But if you or anyone else you know is feeling suicidal or going through some type of life crisis, pick up the phone and dial 988. There's someone waiting on the other side to help you through your suicidal ideations or crisis. They can talk to you today. 988. Thanks so much for being here for another mental health video. My name is Brandon, and I appreciate you all. Stay well.